Auburn lands two more portal studs, Keshaun Singleton, Joseph Simmons. You are both Auburn Tigers.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Daryl Dappich, Montgomery radio legend, hanging out with us, and what a busy morning it's been. The big news did cause someone to enter the portal. We'll talk about that in a second. But Keshaun Singleton, the former USF wide receiver, he was Byron Brown's wide receiver 1 last season. And then Joseph Simmons, the left tackle for JMU last season. They both, in just a span of like 10 to 15 minutes, they both announced they are now Auburn Tigers.
Well, if you watched the program this morning that we dropped, we kind of suspected this was going to happen. It was inevitable with Singleton. We even speculated that they wanted to do it for the basketball game tomorrow night. So that might be interesting to see if he's the celebrity end or whatever it is. But this is big. I mean, we'll just reiterate what we said, this morning on the show. And I'm glad that there wasn't going into the weekend drama, because here's what happens. Again, it's contagious. It's a snowball effect. People start committing, they see others committing, and then they want to jump on board. So within 15 minutes of Singleton, we'll talk about later on about Simmons, but in a nutshell, there's more coming. This is, I think, the beginning of a really big wave for this weekend. We suspected that could happen. And on a Friday morning, before people settle down to eat their lunch, you got two big ones. And Singleton, to me, other than Byron Brown, without trying to sound too hype or too over the top, is the biggest one so far that Auburn's had commit in the portal.
And it seems likely that he's going to be wide receiver 1. We talked about a few of the receivers that are also coming in. I think they'll try to add one more, maybe 2. We'll see what those numbers look like. But all of the guys that have been rumored to be coming in, I think he's better than them.
Mm-hmm.
So like the guys from Ohio State or Rogers from NC State. What was it? Noah Rogers? Yeah, Noah Rogers.
Graham,
Mylan Graham from Ohio State, the former 5-star, and then Quincy Porter as well from Ohio State. I think at least in 2026, I would expect Keshaun Singleton to be a better wide receiver than them and a more productive wide receiver than them. So I think he's wide receiver 1. And that's what he's used to in this system, with the same guy throwing the ball, with the same offensive coordinator, with the same position coach, with the same head coach. Okay, yeah, let's see if all of this transitions and works.
I'll even go a step further than that. I would argue that he would have been wide receiver 2 on last year's team, that only Cam Coleman. I think he's on par with Eric Singleton, which is ironic that they're saying. I'm not saying that one's better than the other, but I think they're very comparable. And I think an argument could be made that he would have been just as good as Eric Singleton was last year for Auburn. So he could have been wide receiver 2 other than Cam Coleman.
I mean, they're just different receivers.
They are.
They're just different receivers.
But I look at targets, I look at receptions, I look at touchdowns. Now, a different offenses, different quarterback throwing it to you.
Right.
But my gosh, the numbers, look at them. I mean, 18 yards average reception.
Yeah.
Eight touchdowns, almost 900 yards. I mean, I don't care what level of that's heady stuff.
Well, and also the two products too, like the products of their production. Keshaun Singleton coming from a situation where coaches allowed them to succeed, set them up to succeed.
True.
And, Eric and the rest of the Auburn receivers for the vast majority of the year were not set up to succeed at all.
Here's the point about that I want to make, that I want to follow up.
Okay.
There were times last year where it looked like to me, even when Derek Nix was calling plays, that Auburn was strategically and forcefully trying to get Cam Coleman the ball, even if he was double covered, right? Yeah. In the goalish offense, the stuff that I've seen, he spreads the love. no matter how good Keshaun Singleton was, Koger got a lot of targets. They're not going to try to force the ball to one guy, nor do they have to. It's going to be spread around. Thereby, the defense is going to have a lot to try to digest.
Yeah, I think that's well said. All right, let's pivot to the other big news happening this morning. Joseph Simmons, the former JMU tackle, he makes Auburn better immediately. And nothing against Ramil. It's interesting. Like Joseph Simmons played pretty much exclusively left tackle at JMU last year, as did Ramil at Michigan State. So like they're both not going to play left tackle. And so do they battle it out? Is that part of the conversation? I think it was you and me. I know I've had the conversation a few times. I assume one of the times was with you, Daryl. Like, is Ramil willing to play other positions on the offensive front? I kind of think this addition, we've talked about this before with other guys. This addition, I think, makes multiple positions on the offensive line better, because I think Simmons is better than Ramil, just based off of what I've seen from both of them so far. Could this system and fit, change things? Of course it could. But right now, I think Simmons is better than Ramil. If you put Simmons at left tackle, Ramil at right tackle, I think it makes Ramil better as well. And that's two roster spots that got better just like that.
I know that I made a quick text before we get on here, and I know that some people at Troy's coaching staff think Simmons is an absolute stud, being a Sun Belt guy and having played. Here's what I think. I don't think what we heard, the rumor of what they paid Ramil to come here, he comes as a backup or to battle it out at left tackle. I think you're going to see a move. And I think it would be Ramil who's had some knee issues and has had some stay healthy issues. You want a guy like that more at right tackle than the blind side with a right-handed quarterback. But that being said, if Auburn goes out and gets a stud right tackle, then that flips the whole dynamic. Then you're saying either Simmons or Ramil will compete with that dude at right tackle, or they'll compete at left tackle if they go out and get a guy that's a plug and play at right tackle. My feeling is Auburn's found two starters to start as offensive tackle. One will be left tackle. One will slide over to right tackle.
And I don't want to speak words in your mouth.
You don't pay what Auburn's been rumored to pay for Ramil to have him be a backup.
What is that rumor?
As far as number?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's supposedly pretty high for an offensive tackle. I've heard that it's close to $1 million.
For Ramil?
Yes.
Wow. That might be your starting right tackle, then. That might be your start. So if your offensive line from left to right was Simmons at left tackle, Jacoby Ward at left guard, Cale Ellis at center, Shabola at right guard. That's the Ohio State offensive lineman that we're kind of expecting to happen this weekend. And then Ramil at right tackle. Are we okay with that?
I'm a little concerned about starting a guy at left guard that's never played a meaningful snap of college football in Ward. And I know they love Ward, but I'd rather see him play as number 2 on the depth chart and progressively get in and get some snaps and get his feet wet. I would love to see them get another left guard that's plug and play, that has, Division I experience. That's just me.
Yeah. And I mean, the other USF guy we talked about, Cole Skinner.
Yes. If they're going to get 4 offensive linemen, Zach, we're halfway there. And then if you get the Ohio State guy, that's 3. That would make sense that a Skinner or someone else that can come in and play left guard right away, and then let Jacoby Ward, ease into the position. I mean, to throw a kid in, I get he's going to be a sophomore, but he's not taking any meaningful snaps. And in the SEC, I don't know if you want to roll with that.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you're eventually going to have to when you replace guys, but
yeah,
I get it. Yeah, then are either any of these freshman guys, are we comfortable with the depth that they provide, like a Wilson Zaire or Parker Pritchett, Michael Lundy Foster, Mason Mathis, Bear McCorder? Like if you told me Bear McCorder was a backup guard, I think I'm okay with that.
That's the one that I think has the potential to get on the field and be number 2 on the depth chart is Bear McCorder. He's one that I think can take that leap.
Yeah. All right. So obviously this news cause and effect of this force another guy out of the portal, which we would have brought up just a second ago in those discussions. But it sounds like Tyler Johnson is now heading to the portal. That's next, right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. It's a big weekend, Daryl. It's a big weekend for NFL playoffs. Your Steelers, what, a 3.5, 4-point dog against the Houston Texans. What is the line now for your Steelers?
It was 3.5 last time. Yeah, 3. Love it. Bring it. I want it.
3.
Keep it there.
Yep. And then, my New England Patriots, 3.5-point favorites over
Too low.
the Chargers.
Too low. Too low.
I think we cover that.
My gosh.
Chargers have a good defense.
I thought it was going to be yeah. I see at least 7. I mean, there's just no way.
I hope you're right. Goodness, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
And then tonight, Indiana, 3.5-point favorite over Oregon. I would take Indiana to cover, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Head over to FanDuel.com to get in on the action today. Thank you so much for making Locked on Auburn your first listen every single day. Tyler Johnson heading to enter the portal per reports. And of course, I don't think it's a coincidence that this news is happening right after the announcements of Joseph Simmons coming over. And then, of course, Stan Ramil earlier in the week.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about cause and effect. I mean, I'm not somebody that, you don't have to think too hard on this one, in my opinion. Within 5 minutes of Simmons announcing that he's coming to Auburn, Tyler Johnson gets in the portal. I think there's a definite correlation there. And I hate that because you want depth. And I think Tyler Johnson's a guy that could have competed and started at one of the tackle positions. So I hate that again, but if you get Simmons and you get Ramil, and you look to get 2 or 3 more, although probably 2 of those will be interior guys. It is what it is. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Would I have rather had Tyler Johnson than not? Sure. And Tyler Johnson's had opportunities to step up, and I think he was so close with those, and he was younger, and now you kind of thought that he'd have a chance to battle it out, but he will go elsewhere, it looks like, and we'll see what that looks like. But all in all, big day for the O-line with getting Joseph Simmons. That's a big deal.
I think this is going to be a really significant weekend as far as adding players in this roster, and it's already started with getting 2 right out of the gate. So I think from now until Sunday, you're going to see a lot of movement, and there'll be some good roster additions, and people should starting to feel good about how this roster is rounding out. Now, the attention, in my opinion, Zach, once you get a couple more offensive linemen, needs to immediately shift with some urgency to the defensive line, including edge. And then that's when you start to address that. Is there another corner that needs to come on board? Absolutely. And the UCLA kid's the one we talked about.
Andre Jordan Jr. From UCLA. Yep.
So you could see him pop, Skinner pop, another defensive lineman pop. It could get really interesting over the next 48.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be that way across college football. I mean, this is the last. I mean, you can enter after the portal. You can commit after the portal closes. You don't have to get in. But at some point, if you want to enroll and go through spring, I mean, classes are starting at a lot of different places next week.
And if you want to go where you want to go, you're rolling the dice the longer you wait. If there's a desired location, you better get in because spots fill up really, really quickly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not that you're almost running out of time, but there is some urgency this weekend across all of college football.
Well, and keep in mind, too, as Ole Miss drops out and as either Indiana or Oregon drops out of their players will start to portal. There'll be some guys that are going to leave Ole Miss. Now, are they automatically earmarked for LSU? We don't know. But Indiana, Oregon could have some guys drop in the portal over the weekend after tonight, whoever loses. So that's also something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. And there's other tackles that have entered to this morning that people sent me, like the Michigan tackle.
Haywood. I can't think of his name. Is that it?
Is that his
Haywood?
name?
Haywood, I think. He's a good
Okay.
he's coveted. Check that out. I think it's Haywood.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So yeah.
Yes, Michigan offensive tackle Ty Haywood plans to enter the portal.
Dude, I think I'm 4 for 4 in the last 2 days.
You're on a streak. You're on a heater.
Which is pretty amazing because I can't even tell you what I ate for breakfast. But
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm starting to this old head, this old brain is kind of getting focused in post-holiday. I'm getting sharp. So,
right.
We'll see.
Right. Somebody asked, I think it was the Aubinator asked in the chat, who's always in here. We really appreciate you.
We do.
Asked if we get more commits today. I'm going to predict we get one more.
Me too.
I think we get one more, then I think we get some tomorrow morning.
I think we get one tonight, 2 more tomorrow morning, and 2 more Sunday.
If you had to guess who was next, I've been wrong the last 2 times. The last 2 times I've said that the next one would be Skinner, the interior offensive lineman.
I'm going to go with the defensive back. I'm going to go with the UCLA Jordan.
I think he'll be tomorrow because he's visiting today/tomorrow. I think he would announce tomorrow.
I think he announces tonight. I think he is going to be overwhelmed, wooed, love the experience, on emotion, says, let's go. I'm a Tiger.
He's so important.
Very important and very good. I like this kid a lot.
Assuming because we haven't seen official statements from Champ Anthony or Rayshon Pleasant yet. Let's assume
Smith.
Yeah, I'm about to ask about corners, but yeah,
sorry.
Smith and Caleb Harris, right? But let's assume Andre Jordan Jr., the UCLA corner who's visiting today, let's say he commits. Let's say he's part of the roster. Who are the starting 2 corners next year for Auburn?
If we hold court after that,
yes,
Pleasant and
Jordan.
You know what? I may revise that. Let's not sleep on Woodby. He could be that dude as a sophomore that could overtake Pleasant. I think Jordan's a starter, period. The UCLA kid's a starter. And then I think the battle becomes between Pleasant, who I love. He made some plays. He won Auburn a football game. He won him a couple games, actually.
Really? With the kick return.
With the kick return, yeah. So I love that kid. So him or Woodby on the other side. I think Woodby's just so much more physical, little bigger corner. Yeah. I know that sounds like I'm hedging, but I don't want to give up on Woodby yet. So I think it would be between Woodby and Pleasant on the other side.
And then they just move Champ around. Like Champ can play nickel.
Yeah, just move him around. And then your safeties are freaking elite.
They're awesome.
With his name is Fred Gaskin.
His name is Fred Gaskin. Yep.
Winters, Fagan, Smith. Holy cow!
Where does Gavin Jenkins, the USF DB? I think he pretty much played corner.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's got like relevant play. He's younger. He's part of that younger group of USF guys that came over. Curious to see what kind of impact because when we see Durkin play a ton of DBs, it would not shock me if who's the guy last year that played more than like Kinsley Faustin.
Right.
Could he be a Kinsley Faustin? Sure. That wouldn't shock me at this point.
I was shocked that Faustin played so much and Strader played so little. I really was. I look at ball skills and physicality, and in practice, he was giving Cam Coleman everything he wanted in August, and looked very good against Baylor. Remember, he's the one that made the big breakup in the back of the end zone on Trigg, who was absolutely killing Auburn in the Baylor game. And Strader made a great play in the back of the end zone, very physical to dislodge the ball. And then I think they missed the field goal on the next. That was a big swing. So
that was a big swing.
So I don't know. I mean, what we think in June and July sometimes doesn't come to fruition. So we'll see. But I think that's a great point that he does play corners and defensive backs that you're like, what? Kind of come out of nowhere. Yeah. I think Robinson came out of nowhere this year. We didn't expect him to get as much play at safety. Jaquez Robinson, he played a lot, and I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, that's true. All in all, good morning. Absolutely good morning. Keshaun Singleton, Joseph Simmons, now Auburn Tigers. Awesome stuff. Daryl, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Tomorrow night, Neville, right? Arkansas game. Let's get this. Let's have a great Auburn weekend on the Plains. Get that dub against Arkansas. We'll talk about it when the game's over, and then Sunday night, little Barncast action live with me, you, and Kyle.
That'll be fun. I think it's going to be a fun weekend to recap.
Yes.
It goes the way we think it will. It'll be a super fun weekend.
I want people to understand the commitment level of jumping on the Barncast last Sunday while the Steelers were battling the Ravens to see who was going to the playoffs. And I didn't even have my phone. I told people in the chat, don't tell me. I want to be focused on Auburn and the Barncast.
Yeah, I was nervous watching the end of that game for you.
Oh, that was, yeah. My heart rate was up.
Yeah. I think we play each other week 2. I think y'all beat Houston, and I think Buffalo beats the Jags, so y'all would come and play us.
And I don't want any part of that. Having lucked up and beat y'all once this year. No.
5 turnovers, y'all still beat us.
Yeah.
I still owe you that part of the bet, too.
You do.
I've not forgotten.
If they win that game and play New England, of course, I want them to beat New England, but I'll just be a little more satisfied that they won a playoff game at home.
That'd be huge.
Because Tomlin hasn't done crap in that realm. So
please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.